I say, can I help you? And I say, I hope so. I hear that there's a recording studio inside. And I want to go and him say, where you want to go from? I say, because I want to sing. And he laugh. And so go on to school. Come back when you left school. And that was my last year. That was my 5th form year. It was just up before the summer holidays. And I came back in the summertime. I'm reminding him, and him say, when you left school, and I say, I left school, him say, not for summer. I say, I graduate, and he start laugh again, because I did tiny, I weighed about 96 months. And that's how our relationship started, which lasted right up until he left me a couple of years ago.
But what did this, where did this inspiration to do music come from?
It feels to me like it's something natural to every Jamaican child. I feel like music is in the water supply, it's in the ear, it's everywhere. But we start this from we're going to school, we bang on desks and DJ, everybody sing and DJ at school. It really doesn't matter if you're good at it or not, it's about your person. It's more of a personality and character kind of thing than even a talent. Because we use music to express ourselves. We sing what we're saying to each other, We sing the answers to questions. We have music inside of every single one of we in Jamaica, whether we pursue it or not, is where we're different in terms of career, but everyone we have music in our way, I speak me.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in St. Mary, big up Richmond, St. Mary. Moved from Richmond to Zion Hill to Barracks River, but St. Mary my ground.
Was it a musical home?
It was a musical home, yes. My mother collected LPs. She collected vinyl and she had the little one-arm changer. My big sister also collected. And I grew up with a wide variety of sounds in the house, from the Skeeter Davis and the Engelbert Humperdinck to the Kitchener, to the Sparrow.
Lord Kitchener.
Lord Kitchener, yes. And I was very fascinated when I realized what he was talking about with the needle and stuff. Made it feel clever. And, my favorite LP that was in the house when I was growing up was Lloydie and the Lowbites. I often reference them when we're having the dispute between the older factions of reggae and the younger factions of reggae. When we tend to discriminate against the children, I remind the older folks of Lloydie, which I had access to him when I was a kid. And see me think me turn out pretty good.
How many people were in the household?
The numbers varied. We started, we go back and forth. It could be anywhere. At one point, there were 7 of us living together.
Mom, dad, aunties, uncles?
Mom. I'm a single parent child. So my father died when I was 1. I grew up with some of my siblings, brothers and sisters. And I'm the 6th of 7 children.
Almost a wash belly.
Almost a wash. One boy come and kick on my foot in the last part, Should drip him more.
Did they treat you like the wash belly? Did you miss being?
I think we got equal treatment.
Yeah.
Our mother had to work she's a single parent. She was a single parent, so she worked hard. So it meant that we mostly parented ourselves and each other. And it was pretty fair, I think. It was equal. We beat up on one another sometimes, but we look after each other too.
Was it a happy childhood?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I come from country, so I wasn't as limited as, you city folk. I assume I don't know where you're coming from, and some people stay. But growing up in the country meant we had access to wide open spaces, and amenities like the river, the bush. And those are my 2 favorite places, river and bush, because at the river we could go catch janga, and in the bush we go get star apple, and sometimes we raid big up Mascaya, we used to raid him cane field, and sometimes when we play Dolly House and we cook with pot, some of yam going night, we get a banana here or there. But growing up in the country meant limitless exposure to, as far as I'm concerned, all things that can possibly contribute to a very broad knowledge base. We know how to plant and grow things. We know how we could have survived on our own us as kids, we were very equipped to survive. Our parents were gone all day working, and we took care of ourselves until they got back.
You mentioned school. Did you enjoy it? Were you a good student?
School very much. I was, I started out as a nerd, or somewhat of a nerd. I was mischievous though. I can't even lie about that because all my report cards echo the same sentiment: give too much trouble, chat too much. Chat too much started from Mr. Talk. I mean, that is something I will never live long enough to understand, because we have this tendency to apply to either one of two extremes. You chat too much, he won't talk. You chat too much, he won't. Make up your mind. Like, you have to actually foster and allow talking for people to talk. So if they see you say somebody else chat too much, chances are they won't talk, and they don't want that. But I did my work, and I felt like that's all I needed to do to be safe and do my work. And them tell me, if you do your work and you get good grades and you're bright and you're going to have a good life. And then I turn adult and realize I like them to tell, but that's a different story.
I'm trying to figure out if you did music, if you did poetry. I'm trying to figure out what made you so confident to walk up to a studio and say, "Let me in, I have songs to sing."
Oh, wow. Well, it's not a confidence that was there all the time. It was kind of like momentary madness. My big sister used to teach at Ocherest High School, formerly Ocherest Secondary. And I used to live with her on the school compound. And she lived in one of the teachers' cottages. And going from St. Mary High to Oche, sometimes I had to drive by Grove Music in the bus. So I actually psyched myself up the whole year, saying, one day I'm going to come off out here, so one day I'm going to come off out here, so walk going. And one day I did. It took a lot of psyching up. But no, I didn't study music in school. I'm a literature student. Literature and language were my pet subjects, and I used to write poems and short stories, and that's how I ended up writing songs.
So at St. Mary, you were writing songs as well as poetry, as well as...
In school, yeah. I started first writing out other people's songs in my notebooks. I'm getting in trouble with my maths teacher for that, because he used to grade the books. And when he opened my book, at the front was the maths, and if you flip it over, I start going back with the music. So I used to write out. I had the Genesis cassette back then. You know, it was cassettes. I had some of the sound system cassettes, and I used to play the little tape recorder. You press play and stop for write out the lyrics.
Yes.
Lecturer, big up yourself. You're the present in my school life. Johnny P. I love Johnny P. Me that hold up my hand long before me have no man. Tiger, my boss, you know, Lieutenant Stitchy. Like, I really love the people who either give jokes or was full of lyrics. Professor Nuts, I love him endlessly. There's nothing he can do for me to stop loving him. Professor Nuts are the professor for real. Yeah. You know, so I had those teachers. I write out them lyrics in my books, and I did have them as guidance for how to put together a song and make it entertaining and stuff. And then on the literature side, I had Sidney Sheldon was my favorite author. I like the way Sidney Sheldon writes. Him start with the suspense. Bang, it's the first page him grab you. You don't get a chance to put the book back down. And I like that. So I like telling stories. I like building up to the suspense and then giving you a climax. And that came out in the songs too.
Now you understand what I was trying to say.
What do you prefer to do, write or perform?
Write, by far, right. I love performing because, of course, that's how you get a gauge as to what the writing does to people. But writing is my preferred expression.
If it wasn't music, what do you think you would be doing?
Over the years, there have been so many things that I've said when I'm asked that question, and I don't know if any of them are true. It probably would be something that allowed me to impact people, because I like sharing ideas. I love change. I love being a part of a discussion that can lead to change. I love learning, and it means I'd have to be exposed to new ideas. So being in some kind of environment that allows me to interact with people, to learn from them, and to share the ideas that I have that maybe could foster new growth.
That is my life. For reggae is the heartbeat of a people.
It must stop. It have to stop. Gang violence is not the solution to our problem. It will only cause pain and suffering. Let's find non-violent ways to solve our conflict. Let's work together to create a safer and peaceful Jamaica. Let's all live good.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
One thing we need to remember is that there are many persons out there in our family, community, wider society who may be having challenges, and that these persons sometimes need to be heard, sometimes need to be helped, sometimes need to be hugged, right? And the best we can do to promote mental wellness in our community is just to be there for people, to be able to hear them, to be able to hug them, to be able to help them, you know? And let's all be our brother's keeper and make this place a better place and a place that is conducive to good mental health and mental wellness.
Let's pick up on Barry O'Hare and his influence on you. How did he change things or make things happen?
Boy, well, he started out being the big man when I look up to when I go to the studio, and he was there, and he just looked so large, and he was sitting in front of all this equipment. It looked like something from a sci-fi movie. So many knobs, and he knew all of them, and I was very impressed. I did young. Later on, I learned that I turned most of them knobs. But he became my best friend and the longest running person in my life outside of family. Right up until we had everything: fights, argument, makeup, friendship, real friendship. My ball upon him through breakups. Him laugh after me. He laugh at everything. You know, when I was in Ochi and I was impatient because we were working on it, I didn't have no patience. I feel like, I'm there, you're there, why we not do something? I could do something. And then him say, boy, I can't wait till you go Kingston. Then I go chew you up and spit you out. And I laugh and I say, you wait until I reach Kingston, I go show you. And I go Kingston and they did chew me up and spit me out. And I run back to him and ball, like, Barry, you did right. You did right. But he was my grounding. I like my rock, my sounding board, my friend. The person when I could have laughed about all of the stupid things in the music with him. You know, music is a very unrealistic space with delusional people full it. And he was one of the people who anchored me. When I could have come to him and say, this bizarre thing happened today, and him could have understand, say it bizarre, because everybody else act like it normal. And so I really was fortunate to have him. That's where I meet Garnet too. Because Garnet used to be in an orchard on a roof and stuff. And down there was a different space. It was more real than Kingston. Kingston. You're not try, but it's not real.
So some women, or many women, say they have a difficult time navigating the music industry. What was your experience, especially as a young girl leaving the country, coming into Kingston?
This is a hard question for me to answer. And I think I used to answer too readily back in the day because my